of the United States government and the US media talking negatively about China has finally backfired. I tried so hard over the past 40 years to teach American business people and students how to understand China. I don't need to do this anymore. The flogging en masse of younger and not so young Americans to the RedNote enables them to learn about China on their own. How nice. What an irony. I'm so happy for you.
Hello, beautiful creatures of the world, and welcome back to Coffee with Kerri-Lynn. It's a winter day here in the far north of Maine, up along the Canadian border. I ended up with the stomach thing that's going around, the crown of Maine. Just got up from my deathbed. I hope everybody is having a beautiful day wherever you might be. I hope you're having a day filled with fabulosity, good health, nice warm sunshine, and dang good coffee. Y'all gonna need dang good coffee. The world's a dumpster fire. Can't do nothing about it. It just gets worse and worse and worse as we approach the impending inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump. We have to call him President-elect or else I get a note on my videos that he's not the president yet. Won't be the president until after he's inaugurated. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, it sucks when you don't feel good. And I got this stomach thing that's going around. Everybody got it up here. It's absolutely terrible. And last night, I just couldn't handle myself. So after I made dinner, I didn't even eat. It was just so bad. I decided to take myself to bed. And of course, the whole house goes hysterical when I go to bed early because now the cats and the dogs want to know how their nighttime routine is going to be handled in case I fall asleep. It's terrible being the one that provides everything at the household, the lady of the house. And when you slightly are feeling off and you have to relax, everybody stresses out. And the king of the castle, the lord of the manor, he understands how to do the dog's routine and the cat's routine, but still they're like, wait a minute, what's going on? So everybody had to come to bed with me to figure this out. And I'm sitting in bed and I didn't want to be in bed, just didn't feel good. Stomach was going, rocking and rolling. And I don't want to sleep. So I started scrolling on the YouTube. It's the worst thing you can do is just to do this. I see that. I see that. Then you hit something because something catches your eye. And you decide, well, okay, I've seen like 4 of these things, shorts about people complaining about the TikTok ban and the titles. Let's see what these people have to say. You know, the TikTokers have come over to YouTube since the hot and heavy YouTube TikTok ban is going to go on. So they've come over to YouTube, but they have discovered it's not a casino over here. Not like over on that app. That app is wild. That app is absolutely wild. There's bells, there's whistles, there's bings, there's dings. When you're doing live, there are people talking at you. There are people sending you stuff. And everything that they send you translates into, at the end of your fiscal month, it translates into money, paychecks. So I decided to see what the TikTokers are complaining about. They're losing their casino. They're very upset. It is not that easy to make money doing shorts on YouTube. It is not that easy to make the kind of money that they were making on the TikTok in long form content on YouTube. Much harder. So they're complaining about the TikTok ban. And of course, you watch one of these dang things, and that's what your news feed fills with. That's what the algorithm puts you on. So I got into TikTok ban hell last night. And I was getting madder and madder and madder at these young people because they just don't understand. I understand it's all about their paycheck. But life ain't all about you, darling. Life ain't all about you. They say that the TikTok ban is racist. We are racist against the Chinese who give them their money. We are racist against the CCP. Our government is shutting down their avenue of finances that sustain their lifestyle. They're very angry. They're very angry at the lawmakers because they don't understand shit. TikTokers, listen up. Come here. Come a little closer. Paying attention? Paying attention, right? Let me tell you who screwed you over with the TikTok ban. TikTok screwed you over with the TikTok ban. You see, what TikTok needed to do is very, very simple. They could operate in this country. All they wanted. They had to divest to an American company, which means the American company would have been in charge of your data. The American company would have been able to see the algorithm, which they do not want the Americans to see. And they could have stayed here. ByteDance needed to divest. ByteDance took the TikTok app away from you. Ladies and gentlemen, TikTokers. Young people of the world, old people of the world, bitching about the TikTok going away. ByteDance took it away from you, not your government. You need to understand and get this stuff straight. You see, on Sunday, the app for TikTok is being taken out of the Apple Store and Google Play. You will not be able to download the app on Apple or Google Play or any of the other American app places that you download your nonsense from. ByteDance. This is where you really got to pay attention, TikTokers. I know, they only got 15-second attention spans. So let me lay this out to you in less than 15 seconds right now. ByteDance could have kept that app for Android on tiktok.com.us and allowed you to download the app directly from their US website, because that's not being taken down. That wasn't a requirement. You could have had your TikTok, but China said we're not divesting, and in fact, we're not doing business in the United States with that app anymore. TikTok screwed you over, not your government. Your government's job, in case, I know a lot of TikTokers didn't take US Civ. That's an old thing. I think US Civ, they stopped teaching that in the late 80s, early 90s. So you don't know how your government functions. And I know a lot of people out there that are Gen Y, Gen Z. You ain't getting the civics course. Your government is supposed to keep you safe from enemies. Foreign invasion. Now we got TikTokers mad at the U.S. government. We have the TikTokers mad at lawmakers because they don't understand what was happening to them on that app. They don't understand the basics of what happened with the TikTok ban. It's just, oh my God, I'm losing my money. I'm losing my income stream. Damn lawmakers in the United States. TikTok needs to stay. Y'all racist. No. China, the CCP, China, who is behind ByteDance, because China is behind every business in China. You operate a business at the leisure and pleasure of the CCP. You become a millionaire at the leisure and pleasure of the CCP. There have been millionaires in China that have disappeared because they decided to have a slight disagreement with Xi Jinping and the CCP. They're disappeared. We can't find them. Boop. Off the face of the earth. Just left their apartment. Who the heck knows what happened to them? Because in China, you don't do business without the government as your partner. They will not in China allow Google, Facebook, Instagram. When an American company goes and builds their product in China, they have to divulge to China every aspect of that product. They have to give China the blueprints. They have to give China the cost. They have to give China all the information and data on building that product. They have to have a government official sitting in the workshop and watching. Middle management needs to be Chinese people. You can't bring a bunch of Americans over there to be management in the Apple plant. You know that? Because China doesn't want the United States to influence, to corrupt, or to propagandize their people. But you fools on TikTok seem to think it's okay that the Chinese companies can come here in the form of tech, give you a fancy little casino app, pay you a little bit of money, and they don't have to follow the standards they force all the other companies from all over the world that want to do business in their country. They shouldn't have to play by their own rules. ByteDance screwed you over, not the lawmakers in our country. Now, I do have a problem with the lawmakers of our country about the TikTok ban, because while it seems TikTok, owned by ByteDance, is banned, had to divest, why isn't Lemon 8 having to divest? They are also a ByteDance company. They're a social media app. They function more like Pinterest. People are having a harder time making money on Lemon 8. But when you look at who owns that company, it's ByteDance. So why is ByteDance being TikTok punished, but not required to divest Lemon 8 or pull out of the country as well? It's all food for thought, ladies and gentlemen. Put your thinking caps on. Think critically. I know the TikTokers have a hard time with it because you're only used to 15-second sound bites. Why isn't RedNote having to divest? That company, which I can't pronounce the name, so I'm not even going to try to butcher it. That is a Shanghai-based tech company. Why is RedNote allowed in our country, but not TikTok? And don't get confused, TikTokers. I'm not defending your right to have the TikTok app. I want them all banned. I want them all removed. Not just the one. All of them. Every single app owned by a country or a company in a country that we are in a soft war or a hard war with needs to be removed from the app stores. The reason why the TikTokers are hooting and hollering and screaming is because money is being made in wild amounts on the TikTok. It would be the same thing if people decided, our government decided to ban YouTube as a platform. Every damn YouTuber would be on here screaming about why are you banning YouTube? Why aren't you banning Facebook and Rumble and da-da-da-da-da? Rest assured, TikTokers, whenever there is money involved, whenever somebody is personally invested in a thing, they will fight to the end. They will believe just about anything because they're watching the empire, the business that they've built. We have to use TikTok because that's where all the complaints are coming from, is the TikTokers. Y'all built businesses on TikTok. Y'all got in bed with the Chinese government, the CCP. You got in bed with the Chinese company. They did the mind mess that they needed to do with you. TikTok could have stayed in the United States simply by offering their app for Android. Apple people, you're just out of the picture. But for Android, they could have kept that app on their TikTok.com.us feature. You could have downloaded it and you could have played on TikTok and made money all damn day long. The Chinese government took it away from you, not your government. Your government is doing what it needs to do in a time of war. And this is a new type of war, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, young people of the world. This is a new war. It's a new type of war. It's the war for your mind. Whether it's the fentanyl coming over the border or the damn apps that they put into play in the country. You notice we don't have RT anymore in this country because it's Russian propaganda. Yes, we have the BBC, we have Al Jazeera, we have Reuters. We have the Associated Press, we have all that kind of propaganda. But we don't allow Chinese TV in here. And yeah, people have been making the argument the Chinese are buying up the farmland. But we can seize that farmland back if we want to. Because that farmland is here. It is a tangible asset. And our government can take that farmland back if they so choose. And I think that they should. See, our country is allowed for police stations manned by the CCP to come into our bigger cities. We can throw them out too. Nobody in Washington has the cojones for this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world. But they do have the cojones to throw out one and only one app. Because they're in a power struggle with the CCP right now. CCP won. The TikTokers are angry at the United States government for banning the app. The CCP won because they could have kept that app on their .com.us server and allowed people with Android to still have their TikTok accounts. CCP won because they took down one app, but they've got others in this country that are not affected. CCP won because now your kids are going to RedNote. The TikTokers are flooding over to RedNote. It's a war of propaganda. It's a war for your mind. This is a new type of warfare. They're not dropping pamphlets from the sky this time. They're confusing the youth. And the youth doesn't understand how the government works or the purpose of the government. Schools don't teach this anymore. I don't think these days I trust the schools to teach much. They'd butcher American Civ, US Civ. They'd butcher it. They'd have your kids coming and going. Like they do for other topics at the school level, where they should be teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic. They're teaching gender ideology to your children. So for the TikTokers who are pissing and moaning, it's not fair. Lawmakers ruined my business. The only person that ruined your business was the CCP. Could have stayed. They chose to pull the app. They could have stayed and divested. They said no. They could have had the app in this country on their .com. They said no. The CCP punished you, not your government. And for those of you who are of a certain age, do you see what just happened? Those of you with a lot more knowledge and wisdom than the young TikTokers. Those of you who have a different lived experience. The young people, they love that lived experience. Sit down and shut up, old people. Last time a young person told a Gen Xer to sit down and shut up, flip-flop came out. Gen Xers. This is your moment. I know, we don't want to be bothered. We just want to live our life. We did it all. We did it all when we were young. We did it all when we were middle-aged. We're doing it all now when we're old. This is our plight. We were the last generation raised without this heavy shroud of Marxism and socialism in our lives. This is your purpose. Your purpose is to save the young people because their minds are effed up. They're blaming their government when their government gave China every option and opportunity to stick around. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, be the kindness that you want to see in the world. Don't be whatever the stomach thing is going around the crown of Maine. And as always, carpe diem, because no one promised you a tomorrow.